You feel a tight knot in your chest when you think about your goals and wonder why you're not moving closer to them. Have you ever asked yourself what's really holding you back? What if the way you talk to yourself and the thoughts you repeat every day are the barriers between you and the life you want? Today you're going to discover simple but powerful steps to shift your thinking, build unstoppable confidence, and turn your dreams into real milestones. You'll hear honest stories about people who stopped letting fear and doubt control their choices. And you'll learn clear actions you can take right now to change your inner voice. By the end of this video, you'll feel a surge of clarity and motivation to face challenges head on and keep pushing forward. Ready to take that first step toward a stronger mindset? Keep watching and let's get started. Number 1, decide what you want and commit to it. You wake up every morning and something inside you knows this isn't how it's supposed to be. You're alive, but you're not fully living. There's a gap between where you are and where you could be. You feel it in your chest. You carry it in your silence. And maybe deep down you've tried to ignore it, hoping it would go away, but it never does. It's the sound of your own potential asking you, when are you going to decide what you want and commit to it? That's where it all begins. Not with luck, not with talent, not with some perfect opportunity falling into your lap. No, it begins with a decision, a real one. Not the kind you make on a whim, not the kind you say out loud and then forget the next day. I'm talking about a decision that locks the door to your old life and throws away the key. The kind that changes your direction. The kind that sets your mind on fire. Most people don't get what they want because they've never actually decided what they want. They drift. They react. They follow. They wait for something outside of them to give them permission. And life doesn't work like that. The world isn't waiting to hand you your dream. It's waiting to see if you're serious enough to go get it. So I want you to ask yourself something right now. What do you really want? Not what you think you can get. Not what someone else told you is realistic. I mean what you really want. If you weren't afraid, if you weren't doubting yourself, if you could silence every voice in your head that tells you to play small, what would you choose? What would you build? What would you give your time to? What would you wake up for? You've got to decide. Because until you do, you're always going to feel pulled in 100 directions. One day you're motivated. The next day you're lost. One week you're making progress. The next you're slipping back into your old habits. That's the life of a person who hasn't made a decision. That's the life of someone who hasn't committed. And that life leads to frustration. It leads to bitterness. It leads to regret. But something happens when you make a real decision. You stop negotiating with your comfort. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop waiting for things to feel easy. You stop caring about what other people think. Because you've decided, this is it. This is what I want. And I'm not turning back. That decision rewires your brain. It lights something up in you. It wakes up a part of you that's been asleep for too long. And when that part of you wakes up, you don't need motivation every morning. You don't need someone cheering you on. You don't need to be told what to do, because the fire is already inside you. People spend years avoiding that decision. They stay busy. They chase distractions. They stay around the wrong people, not because they don't want to change, but because they're afraid of what that decision will cost them. Maybe it'll cost them comfort. Maybe it'll cost them approval. Maybe it'll mean starting over. And yes, it might, but it's worth it, because your real life starts the moment you stop running from that decision. You've got to look yourself in the mirror and ask, am I really committed, or am I just interested? Because there's a big difference. If you're interested, you'll show up when it's easy. You'll try as long as it doesn't get uncomfortable. You'll make excuses when things get hard. But if you're committed, you don't care how long it takes. You don't care how hard it gets. You don't care how many times you fall, because you've already decided, this is who I am now. And don't make the mistake of thinking, this is about having everything figured out. You don't need to know every step. You just need to know the first one. And you need to take it with everything you've got. You figure out the rest along the way. Clarity comes from movement. Courage comes from action. You learn by doing. You grow by staying in it when it's hard. The truth is, you're not stuck. You're not broken. You're not too late. You're just undecided. And that indecision is stealing your time. It's killing your energy. It's feeding your doubt. Every day you stay on the fence is another day you move further away from the life you could be living. So what do? You get clear. You stop lying to yourself. You stop saying I don't know when deep down you do. You stop pretending like your time is unlimited. It's not. You don't get to hit pause on your life. You don't get to keep postponing your future and expect things to magically change. You've got to take the wheel and choose your direction today. Deciding what you want is uncomfortable. It forces you to admit what you've been avoiding. It forces you to let go of distractions. It forces you to outgrow people who aren't going where you're going. But it also forces you to become the person you've always known you could be, and that's worth it. You can't fake commitment. You can't cheat it. You either show up or you don't. And when you do, the world starts to shift. Opportunities appear. People notice. Things begin to align. Not because life suddenly got easier, but because you finally got clear. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Stop hoping someone will come and give you the answer. They won't. Stop thinking you need more time. You don't. What you need is a decision. A bold one. A clear one. A real one. There are people with less talent than you doing more with their life because they made a decision. There are people with more obstacles than you reaching higher because they made a decision. There are people with fewer resources, fewer chances, and fewer connections who are building their dream life because they made a decision. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's not fate. It's clarity. It's discipline. It's commitment. And that's available to you right now. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have everything in place. You just need to stop running and decide, this is my life, and I'm going to take control of it. You want to achieve your goals? You want to break the patterns that are holding you back? You want to stop feeling like time is slipping through your hands? Then stop living in the middle. Stop sitting in the waiting room of your life. Step up, get serious, and commit to something real. If you've got a dream, decide it matters. If you've got a goal, commit to it every single day. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient, but when it's early, when it's late, when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's lonely, especially when it's lonely, because that's where the real change happens. In the quiet hours when no one is watching, in the moments when quitting feels easier, in the days when your old habits are screaming for your attention. That's when you show them who you are now. That's when you double down. That's when you stay committed. Not to the idea of success, but to the process of building it. And the truth is, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's gonna carry you to the finish line. It's you. It's always been you. Your choices, your actions, your mindset, your commitment. You either rise or you repeat. You either evolve or you stay the same. And every day you're making that choice, even when you think you're not. So what are you going to do now? Sit back and hope life changes. Or stand up and make a real decision that changes everything. You've got more power than you think. You've got more in you than you've used. And you've waited long enough. Now is the time. Not someday, not later. Now decide what you want and commit to it like your life depends on it. Because it does. This is your moment. And if you don't grab it, it won't come again the same way. Time doesn't slow down. Dreams don't chase you. And change doesn't happen by accident. You've got to step into the fire and say, I'm ready. Not wasting another day. I'm building the life I was meant to live. Now stand up in your life. And this time decide for real. Number 2, challenge every weak thought and replace it fast. You can't win in life if your mind keeps feeding you reasons to stay weak. Every single day, there's a war going on in your head. And most people don't even realize it. They hear a thought like, you're not good enough, or why even try? And they let it stay. They let it sit there, untouched, unchallenged, as if it were the truth. And that's the beginning of the end. That's how potential dies. Not from a lack of talent, not from failure, but from letting weak thoughts grow roots. Weak thoughts are subtle. They don't yell. They whisper. They sound like logic. They sound like caution. They sound like the voice of reason. But what they really are is fear in disguise. Fear that's been dressed up in soft language to keep you from fighting back. And the first rule to breaking out of this mental trap is simple. You have to challenge every weak thought the moment it shows up. Don't give it a second to settle. Don't allow it to breathe. The longer it stays, the deeper it digs. And once it gets a hold of you, it makes everything harder. Starting your day, taking risks, pushing through resistance. It convinces you to shrink, to wait, to hide. You've got to be faster, stronger, sharper. You can't let your mind become a playground for weakness. You've got to step in like a guard, protecting a castle. Because that's what your mind is. It's your kingdom. And whatever enters it either builds you up or breaks you down. Most people lose before they ever begin because they never learn to talk back to their own thoughts. They just listen. They accept. They assume that everything their brain tells them is some kind of permanent truth. But it's not. It's just programming. And the great thing about programming, it can be rewritten. It can be replaced. When you hear, "I can't do this," your response needs to be immediate. Who says I can't? What proof do I have that I can't? Have I even tried with everything I've got? You don't just let the thought sit there like a fact. You put it on trial. You dig into it. You break it down. When your mind tells you, "It's too late for me," you fire back with, "It's too late for who? Show me the evidence. Show me the rule book that says I'm done." Because I haven't seen it. I'm not done. Not even close. This isn't just motivational talk. This is psychological warfare. If you don't take control of your inner dialogue, it will control you. And it won't control you with force. It'll control you with lies that sound reasonable. Lies like, "Take a break. You can do it tomorrow. You're not ready yet." And once you start believing them, you stop acting. You stop moving forward. You start building a case for your limitations. But here's what I want you to understand. Every time you respond to a weak thought with a strong one, you build a stronger version of yourself. You train your brain to fight back. You wire it to seek power instead of permission. You stop being a slave to emotion and start becoming the master of your direction. You have to get into the habit of interrupting every thought that doesn't serve your goals. If it doesn't push you forward, it doesn't belong. If it makes you hesitate, it doesn't get to stay. If it makes you feel smaller, you replace it with one that makes you rise. You can do this right now, right where you are. You don't need therapy to start this habit. You don't need a course or a coach. You just need one thing: the decision to stop letting weak thoughts live rent-free in your mind. And the truth is, most people don't take this seriously. They treat their inner thoughts like background noise. They think, "It's just how I feel," or "That's just how I am." No, that's how you've trained yourself to think. That's how you've been conditioned. And the only way to break it is to become ruthless about it. I want you to imagine something. Imagine every time you had a negative thought, someone wrote it down and read it back to you out loud. You're not going to make it. You're wasting your time. You're not as good as them. If someone else said that to you, you'd be furious. You'd fight back. But when it's your own voice saying it, you let it slide. That has to end. You've got to become the kind of person who doesn't let weakness speak unchecked. You've got to interrupt it every single time. And not just with empty words, but with truth, with facts, with purpose, with action. When you think, "I'm too tired," you say, "I've done hard things before while tired." One more step, just one more. When you think, "I'll fail," you say, "Failure is the price I pay for growth. I'm not afraid of paying." When you think, "What will they think of me?" you say, "They don't live my life. I do. I decide." This is how mental strength is built, not by avoiding negative thoughts, but by confronting them, challenging them, replacing them with words that give you power, not fear. Most people never train their mind like this. They train their body. They train their skills. But the mind, they leave it wide open, unguarded, exposed. And that's why their goals feel so far away. That's why they start and stop and never finish. Because no matter how strong their willpower is, if the thoughts in their head are tearing them down, they will never win. You can't chase big goals with a fragile mindset. You can't face big problems with a defeated mind. You need a mindset that holds the line. One that doesn't collapse every time something goes wrong. One that doesn't retreat at the first sign of resistance. And the only way to build that kind of mind is to get serious about what you allow to live in it. Weak thoughts are like weeds. They don't need permission to grow. They show up uninvited. But if you let them stay, they will take over. And soon there won't be any space left for strong thoughts to grow. So make a decision today. No more weak thoughts left unchallenged. No more repeating old stories. No more believing the voice that says you can't, you're not enough, or you should just give up. That voice doesn't serve you. That voice doesn't deserve your attention. You have to understand something powerful here. You can train your thoughts just like you train your body. Every time you catch a weak thought and replace it, you strengthen your mind. You build speed. You build clarity. You build control. And that control gives you something most people never have. Freedom. Freedom from self-doubt. Freedom from anxiety. Freedom from being a prisoner to emotion. Because now you run your mind. It doesn't run you. You might not be able to stop every weak thought from appearing, but you don't have to. You only have to stop giving them power. Stop feeding them. Stop repeating them. Stop letting them shape your reality. Your reality is shaped by the thoughts you act on. So if you want to change your life, you don't need a new job, a new city, or a new relationship. You need new thoughts, strong ones, clear ones, true ones. And it all starts with awareness. The next time a weak thought shows up, and you catch it, you stop everything. You call it out. You label it. You say, this thought doesn't help me. And you throw it out. And then you replace it with something that lifts you, that pushes you, that aligns with the life you're building. If you do that every day, even just once a day, everything begins to shift. Your confidence grows. Your energy rises. Your actions become more focused. And suddenly the goals that used to feel impossible start becoming real. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Because your thoughts became stronger than your excuses. Because your mindset stopped being your enemy and became your greatest ally. That's how change begins. Not with motivation, not with hype, with one simple habit. Challenge every weak thought and replace it fast. And when you make this your standard, not your option, when this becomes how you live, not just something you try, your life will never look the same. Now it's your turn. Stop giving power to weakness. Stand up inside your own mind. Take control of the words you allow to live there. Replace the voice of fear with the voice of truth. Challenge every lie with action. And don't stop until your mind reflects the life you want, not the one you're trying to escape. Because you're not here to be average. You're here to win. And that starts right now, with the next thought you choose to believe. Number 3, surround yourself with people who want to grow. Your life is being shaped every single day by the people you allow around you. Look around. Who's standing beside you? Who do you talk to when things get hard? Who do you go to when you have a new idea? Who hears your dreams? Who watches you grow? Or worse, who pulls you back when you try? That's not just company. That's influence. That's pressure. That's either fuel or poison. And you better be honest about which one it is. Because the truth is, no matter how strong your mindset is, no matter how clear your goals are, if you keep surrounding yourself with people who don't want to grow, people who complain, who stay comfortable, who tear down what they don't understand, you will lose your edge. Slowly, silently, subtly. And by the time you notice it, your fire's already faded. That's why it's not just important. It's absolutely necessary that you surround yourself with people who want to grow. People who want more from themselves. People who look in the mirror and say, I can do better. People who challenge their own limits and push you to challenge yours. If you're serious about your goals, you can't afford to be around people who settle. You can't afford to be around people who make excuses and laugh at effort. You can't afford to be the most ambitious person in your circle. Because if you are, you won't rise. You'll shrink. You'll adjust. You'll start to downplay your hunger to fit in. And that's how dreams die. Not from lack of talent, but from the wrong environment. And listen, this is going to sting, but you need to hear it. Some of the people you love most might be the exact ones holding you back. Not because they hate you, not because they're bad people, but because they've stopped growing. Because your growth threatens their comfort. Because every time you take a step forward, it reminds them they've been standing still. And when that happens, they don't cheer you on. They try to slow you down. They say things like, you've changed. Good, that's the goal. Growth is change. They say, don't forget where you came from. No, don't forget where you're going. They say, "Why are you working so hard?" Because you refuse to live an average life. Because you know what's possible for you. Now, this isn't about cutting people off cold. It's not about ego. It's not about pretending you're better than anyone. It's about protecting your energy. It's about choosing to place yourself in environments that make your standards rise, not fall. It's about surrounding yourself with people who look at challenges and say, "Let's figure it out," instead of "That's too hard." You need to be around people who push you without even trying. People who talk about ideas, not people. People who speak life into your goals. People who aren't intimidated by your ambition. People who understand it, who live it, who want it just as badly as you do. Because something incredible happens when you're around those kinds of people. You don't have to explain your discipline. You don't have to justify your goals. You don't have to hide your dreams. You get to be fully locked in, fully focused, fully alive. When you're around people who want to grow, you rise by accident. Their habits rub off. Their energy lifts you. Their progress motivates you to move. It becomes normal to talk about winning. It becomes normal to challenge yourself. It becomes normal to take risks, to fail forward, to keep going no matter what. And that's the shift most people never experience. Because they never change their circle. They outgrow their environment, but stay in it out of guilt, out of loyalty, out of fear, and they wonder why they feel stuck, why nothing changes, why every time they make progress, something pulls them back. But here's the truth. You are not responsible for making other people comfortable with your growth. You're responsible for protecting your purpose, for honoring your vision, for creating a life that reflects who you're becoming, not who you used to be. That means making hard decisions. That means being willing to walk away from relationships that don't serve your highest self. That means being okay with being misunderstood, being okay with being alone for a while, being okay with not being invited anymore. Because growth is lonely, but so is regret. So is wasted potential. So is looking back one day and knowing you could have gone further, but you let someone else's fear keep you grounded. You want to win? Surround yourself with winners. You want to think bigger? Talk to people who already do. You want to stop doubting yourself? Be around people who remind you what you're made of. You want to stay consistent? Get in circles where consistency is normal, not rare. This isn't about perfection. It's not about finding flawless people. It's about finding people who are hungry, who are fighting for more, who are building something, who are waking up with purpose and ending their day with pride. People who won't let you quit. People who call you out when you're slacking. People who hold you to your own standard, even when you try to lower it. And if you don't have people like that in your life right now, don't panic. Go find them. They exist. They're out there. You might have to step into new rooms. You might have to go places you've never been. You might have to be the beginner in the room for a while. That's okay. That's where growth starts. Start reading what they read, listening to what they listen to, thinking how they think, acting how they act. Train your mind to operate on that level before the people even arrive. That way, when they show up, you'll be ready. You'll be aligned. And maybe someone's watching this right now thinking, "But I don't know anyone like that." Here's the answer. Then become that person yourself. Be the one who grows. Be the one who levels up. Be the one who raises the bar. Be the one who lives with so much purpose that you start attracting others who do the same. Because like attracts, like growth attracts growth. Discipline attracts discipline. And when you walk the path with intensity, with integrity, with fire in your spirit, you won't need to chase people. The right ones will find you, and the wrong ones will drift away on their own. So today, ask yourself a question you might have been avoiding. Are the people in your life helping you grow or holding you back? Are they celebrating your wins or brushing them off? Are they lifting you or draining you? If the answer isn't clear, your path won't be either. You need clarity. You need alignment. You need community. Build one if you have to. Start small. One person, one conversation, one connection at a time. But don't settle. Don't wait. Don't pretend it doesn't matter. Because it does. It matters more than you think. Your environment shapes your energy. Your circle shapes your habits. Your habits shape your life. And if you keep staying around people who don't want to grow, You'll keep feeling the weight of their limits every time you try to rise. But if you choose a new standard for the people you keep close, if you decide that your vision deserves protection, deserves reinforcement, deserves a tribe of warriors, not doubters, you'll feel a new kind of momentum. You'll move faster, think clearer, feel stronger. And the best part, it compounds. The more you grow, the more you attract. The more you attract, the more you grow. It becomes a cycle, a rhythm, a lifestyle. And that's what you want. A life where growth is normal, where hunger is respected, where your goals are safe, where your progress is fueled by the people you trust most. So here's your decision. Stay where it's safe, or rise where it's real. Keep familiar company or build a future with people who want the same fire you do. Lower your energy to match the room, or raise the room to match your energy. Because the truth is simple. Your life will rise or fall with your circle. Choose it with intention. Choose it with boldness. Choose it like your future depends on it. Because it does. Number 4, take control of your time and stop wasting it. Every second you waste is a second of your life you'll never get back. And deep down, you already know it. But knowing isn't the problem. The real problem is you keep telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, next week, when things slow down, when the timing feels right, when in reality the clock doesn't care about your excuses. It keeps ticking, quietly, relentlessly. And if you don't take control of your time will control you. Your future will slip through your fingers while you're busy scrolling, overthinking, delaying, and distracting yourself with things that don't matter. How many dreams have you watched pass you by because you kept postponing action? How many ideas have you buried under procrastination? How many mornings have you given away to comfort, knowing full well you were meant to be building something? The truth hurts, but it also frees you, if you're ready to face it. Because here's the truth, no one wants to admit. If your life feels out of control, it's because your time is out of control. If your progress is slow, it's because your priorities are scattered. If your days feel heavy, chaotic, rushed, it's not because you have too much to do. It's because you haven't taken ownership of how you use your minutes. Time is not money. It's far more valuable than money. You can lose money and get it back. You can waste energy and still recover. But time, once it's gone forever. That's why wasting time is the most dangerous habit you can have. Because it doesn't destroy your life overnight. It erodes it silently. You don't see the cost until it's too late. And that's what's scary. Most people are losing their lives in real time. But they think they're just taking a break. They're stuck in comfort cycles. They say, I'll start soon. It's not the right time. I'm just tired today. But those moments add up. Those hours become weeks. Those weeks become years. And one day you wake up and wonder how the hell you got so far from the life you said you wanted. It's time to stop lying to yourself. You're not overwhelmed. You're not too busy. You just haven't taken control of your time. And until you do, you'll keep spinning in circles, watching others build, grow, win, while you wait for the perfect moment that never comes. So let me ask you something real. What are you doing with your hours? Not your goals, not your intentions, your actual hours. What do your mornings look like? How do you spend your evenings? What do you reach for when you feel discomfort? Where do your minutes go when no one's watching? Because that's where your life is being written. Not in the big goals you post about. Not in the vision board on your wall. In the small, quiet choices you make every day. That's where greatness lives or dies. You can't keep complaining about where you are if you're not willing to guard your time like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your habits are carving your future 1 minute at a time. So if you're serious about change, you don't need more motivation. You need to start managing your minutes with obsession, with intention, with discipline. Don't wait for motivation to magically show up. It won't. It's not coming to save you. You save you. You get up. Whether you feel like it or not, you lock in on what matters. You eliminate the noise. You don't check your phone first thing in the morning. You check your purpose. You don't binge distractions. You execute with direction. People think time management is about schedules and planners. It's not. It's about deciding who you want to become and building your life around that version of you. It's about removing what doesn't align. It's about cutting the fat, removing the fluff, saying no more often, saying yes to the right things, consistently, not just when it's convenient. You can't master your life until you master your days. And you can't master your days until you get serious about where your time is going. That means tracking it. That means calling yourself out when you waste it. That means understanding that your time is sacred and treating it that way. Because here's the brutal truth. If you keep living like time is unlimited, you'll keep living small. You'll keep settling. You'll keep dreaming without doing. You'll keep watching others win and wondering why you're stuck. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's how they use their time. The people you admire, the ones who are disciplined, productive, successful, they don't have more hours than you. They've just chosen to stop wasting them. They've chosen to stop chasing comfort. They've chosen to stop being victims of distraction. They've chosen to treat their time like the asset it is, non-refundable, irreplaceable, and unbelievably powerful when used right. And you have that power too, but only if you claim it. That means no more aimless days, no more drifting, no more lying to yourself that you'll start next week. That means deciding right now that your time matters, that your goals are worth protecting, that your future deserves better than scraps of leftover energy and broken focus. Look at your calendar. That's your life in real form. Are your days reflecting your values or your fears? Are you building or avoiding? Are you intentional or reactive? Because that's the gap, where you are and where you want to be. That's what fills it, how you spend your time. Every scroll, every delay, every hour lost to distraction. It's not harmless. It's a withdrawal from your future. You're borrowing from tomorrow's potential to feel comfortable today. And that trade will never pay off. You can't build an extraordinary life with ordinary time habits. So here's what you do. Simplify. Strip it down. Get clear on what matters, and eliminate everything else. Wake up and ask yourself, what's the one thing I must accomplish today that moves me forward? Do that first, before the noise, before the chaos. Lock in. Go deep. Get it done. Then build around that. Prioritize your energy. Say no to nonsense. Build routines that protect your peace. Make your habits automatic, so you don't have to think. You just do. And when distractions come, and they will, you face them head on. You don't negotiate. You don't rationalize. You remind yourself, your time is a non-renewable resource. Every minute gone is a minute gone forever. And you're not giving it away cheaply anymore. Start treating your schedule like a contract with your future self. Honor it. Respect it. Show up for it, like your life depends on it. Because it absolutely does. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop searching for more hours. Start being ruthless with what you have right now. Get up earlier. Cut the noise. Focus deeper. And repeat it every single day. You don't need 10 more hacks. You need 10 times more focus. You don't need a better planner. You need a better mindset. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to stop wasting the ones you already have. Because one day your time will run out. And when it does, what will you have to show for it? Excuses? Regrets? Missed chances? Or will you look back knowing you gave it everything? That you used your time like it mattered? That you left nothing behind? That decision is made today. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel like it. Now take control of your time. Own your minutes. Protect your hours. Build the life you were meant for. One focused, intentional day at a time. You have the power to completely transform your life. Starting with how you treat this moment. Don't waste it. Don't wait. Take control of your time. And everything changes. Forever. Now move. Number 5. Speak to yourself with honesty and high standards. The words you whisper to yourself shape the world you live in more than any external voice ever will. Every day, you engage in a silent conversation that decides your mood, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny. This conversation is the most powerful dialogue you will ever have, the one inside your mind. But here's the brutal truth. Most people speak to themselves with doubt, excuse, and low expectations. They accept less than they deserve, justify their failures, and settle for mediocrity because they never demand more from the person they see in the mirror. Imagine how different your life could be if you started speaking to yourself with brutal honesty, but also with uncompromising standards. If you stopped the lies, the excuses, and the comforting falsehoods, and instead embrace the truth about who you are, what you want, and what you're capable of achieving. Not with harshness, but with respect. Not with self-hate, but with high expectation. This is not about beating yourself down. It's about lifting yourself up by holding yourself accountable. The voice inside your head either builds you or breaks you. If you let it be lazy, weak, and indulgent, it will drag you into a life of quiet defeat. But if you demand excellence, clarity, and integrity from your own thoughts, you build a foundation that nothing can shake. Think about the people you admire most in your life. The ones who stand tall in adversity, who keep pushing when it hurts, who hold themselves to a higher code. What's their secret? They don't fool themselves. They don't sugarcoat their realities. They confront their flaws, admit their mistakes, and refuse to settle for less than their best. They speak to themselves with honesty and high standards every single day. You can do the same. But first, you have to stop lying to yourself most of all. Stop saying, "I'm not ready." The truth is, you're never ready until you start. Stop telling yourself, "I'll do better tomorrow," while tomorrow turns into months. Stop excusing your procrastination as just needing a break when it's really fear dressed in comfortable clothes. Honesty demands that you face the hard facts without flinching. What are you really doing to improve? What habits are holding you hostage? Where are you avoiding responsibility? What are you settling for that's beneath you? This kind of honesty is not about shame or guilt. It's about awakening. It's the brutal clarity that frees you from the chains of self-deception. When you start seeing yourself clearly, you stop wasting time on meaningless distractions. You stop letting comfort dictate your choices. You start living with purpose. But honesty alone isn't enough. High standards must follow. Because being truthful without demanding more from yourself only leads to stagnation. You can admit your weaknesses and still choose to tolerate them. That's why the voice you use must also be your toughest coach and your kindest motivator. High standards mean refusing to accept anything that doesn't push you forward. It means setting a bar so high that every small victory feels like a step toward greatness. It means being unwilling to settle for excuses, laziness, or distractions. It means telling yourself, "I deserve better, and I will do better." This is where transformation happens. The moment you start treating your internal dialogue like a sacred contract, a promise to be honest and demanding, you stop being your own worst enemy. You become your own champion. Picture this every morning. As you wake, you speak to yourself with clarity and respect. You acknowledge yesterday's mistakes without beating yourself up. You commit to today's progress without pressure or doubt. You remind yourself that growth is a journey, but that journey requires discipline. This simple act rewires your mind. It rewires how you handle challenges, how you respond to setbacks, and how you pursue your goals. You no longer accept failure as final because you know you have the strength to improve. You no longer give in to negative thoughts because you've trained your mind to reject them. You no longer settle for less because your internal standards are set higher. Now I want you to think about how you've been speaking to yourself lately. Are your words lifting you up or tearing you down? Are you your greatest ally or your toughest critic? If your answer is anything less than kind but firm honesty mixed with high expectations, you're not harnessing your full potential. Changing your inner voice takes courage. It's not easy to admit when you're wrong or when you've fallen short. It's uncomfortable to hold yourself accountable without excuses. But that discomfort is the price of progress. This process is like training a muscle. The more you practice speaking with honesty and high standards, the stronger your mindset becomes. Eventually, it becomes natural. It becomes your default mode. Your internal dialogue becomes a source of strength instead of weakness. Every successful person you admire has mastered this art. They aren't perfect, but their commitment to truth and excellence inside their own minds propels them forward. They refuse to let their thoughts sabotage their dreams. So start now. Listen carefully to the words you use when no one else is around. Notice the tone. Notice the content. Is it aligned with the person you want to be? If not, change it. Rewrite your internal script. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning." Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I'm capable and growing." Replace "I'll try" with "I will." Replace self-doubt with self-belief. excuses with actions, and comfort zones with challenges. This is how you build unstoppable confidence. This is how you break free from limiting beliefs. This is how you cultivate the mindset that turns obstacles into opportunities. Remember, you are the one who sets the rules for your mind. You control the conversation inside your head. You decide whether that voice empowers or destroys you. That choice will shape everything, from your relationships to your career, from your happiness to your success. When you speak to yourself with honesty and high standards, you build a foundation so strong, no external force can shake it. You develop resilience because your inner voice fuels your courage. You unlock potential because your thoughts align with your goals. This is the key to radical transformation. It's not about perfection. It's about commitment. It's not about harshness. It's about respect. It's not about judgment. It's about growth. So ask yourself today, what kind of dialogue are you having with the most important person in your life? Yourself. Is it a dialogue that creates strength, clarity, and momentum? Or is it a dialogue that breeds doubt, excuses, and stagnation? If it's the latter, decide now to change it. Speak to yourself with truth. Hold yourself to high standards. Treat your mind as the powerful ally it is, not the enemy it pretends to be when left unchecked. This shift will demand courage. It will challenge your comfort. It will push you to face your fears and flaws. But it will also open doors you didn't know existed. It will ignite a fire inside that nothing can extinguish. You are worth that fight. Your dreams are worth that effort. Your future depends on that internal conversation becoming your greatest strength. So start today. Look in the mirror and speak honestly to the person staring back. Set standards so high they demand your best effort every day. Build a mindset so powerful it can't be broken. Your words have power. Use them wisely. Speak to yourself with honesty and high standards, and watch your life rise to meet the voice you choose to believe. Now go, and never settle for less than the truth you deserve, and the excellence you are capable of achieving. Number 6. Act on your goals every single day now. If you don't act today, your dreams will keep dying a silent death, one idle day at a time. There is no more time to waste. You already know what you want. You've written it down. You've imagined the life you could live. And deep inside you, there's a fire that refuses to go out. But let's be honest. How often do you wake up and let that fire flicker behind excuses? How many times have you waited for motivation, waited for clarity, waited for the perfect moment that never arrives? The truth is harsh. Waiting is just another form of fear, and fear will rob your future if you don't start acting now. You don't need a bigger plan. You don't need more motivation. What you need is to move. Today, this hour, right now. Action is the cure for overthinking. It is the answer to procrastination. It is the only thing that creates change. Everything you dream of, everything you hope to become, is locked behind the door of consistent, daily action. You can't think your way through that door. You can't talk your way through it. You have to act your way through it. Every single day that you don't take action is a day you fall further behind. Not just behind others, behind your own potential. You lose time. You lose momentum. You lose trust in yourself. Because when you keep making promises to your future, but break them every morning, you start to believe that your goals don't matter, that you don't matter. And that's the lie your mind will feed you when you stay inactive for too long. It will whisper that it's okay to rest when you haven't earned it. It will tell you that comfort is more important than growth. But comfort doesn't build anything. Goals are not achieved by the comfortable. They're achieved by the committed, those who act when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when it's boring, and when it feels like nothing is working. You want to know what separates those who win from those who just wish. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's the decision to act again and again, even when nobody is watching, even when there's no reward yet, even when the results are slow. Especially then, because consistency when it's hard builds self-respect. And self-respect becomes the backbone of every goal you chase. But maybe you're thinking, I've failed too many times. I start strong and fall off. I've made plans before and never followed through. Good. That means you're human. That means you're not some flawless robot who never makes mistakes. But what separates winners is they don't stay in the failure. They don't let one missed day become a missed year. They don't dwell on what didn't work. They stand up, adjust, and move again. Every single time. You must understand this. Your goals are not waiting for the perfect version of you. They're waiting for the committed version of you. The one who shows up, even when it's ugly. The one who doesn't just chase the highlight reel, but embraces the grind. That version of you is already inside. It's been buried under hesitation and delay, but it's there. And the only way to bring it to life is to act daily, without fail, without excuses. Start with the smallest step if you have to. One page, one workout, one call, one task, and then show up again tomorrow. Your goals don't require massive leaps. They require relentless steps, taken with discipline and focus. Every small step compounds. Over time, it builds habits. Habits build results. Results build belief. And belief is what makes you unstoppable. But you can't wait for belief to come first. You don't believe your way into acting. You act your way into believing. That's how confidence is born. Through action, through sweat, through showing up for yourself day after day, until it becomes who you are. People who succeed don't feel ready every day. They just stop negotiating with their excuses. They made discipline a non-negotiable. They decided that no matter what happens around them, they will keep moving forward. Rain or shine, tired or energized, inspired or drained, they act every single day. That's the mindset you need. No more room for someday. No more mental bargaining. No more lying to yourself with soft promises and hollow goals. Decide today that this is your new standard. You will act on your goals every day, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because if you don't, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle. Dreaming, delaying, disappointing yourself. And if you're wondering when the results will come, here's the truth. They show up after your consistency, not before, not during, after. You don't get rewarded on day one. You get tested. You get stretched. You get challenged. That's the price of transformation. But if you stay consistent, the shift happens. The momentum builds. The vision becomes real. There's nothing more powerful than a person who commits to daily action. That person doesn't need motivation. They become the motivation. That person doesn't chase inspiration. They inspire others. That person doesn't talk about what they're going to do. They show the world by doing it. You owe it to yourself to become that person. Not for anyone else. Not for applause. For you. For the promise you made when you decided to dream bigger. For the version of you who's been waiting to rise. Stop delaying that rise. Start acting right now. Don't let the day pass without a step. Don't let another sunrise go to waste. Don't wait for motivation. Don't scroll through another feed looking for answers. The answer is simple. Act on your goals every single day, even when it's inconvenient. Especially then. This is the test of who you are becoming. It's not about how badly you want it. It's about how relentlessly you're willing to chase it. Through discomfort, through failure, through fear, through fatigue. That's where greatness lives. On the other side of daily action. And if today was supposed to be the day you started, but you already feel like quitting, start anyway. Do it anyway. Because that's where the power is. In the discipline to act when you don't feel like it. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. The spectators from the players. The average from the extraordinary. Every day is a fresh chance to prove to yourself that you mean it. That your goals aren't just ideas, they're commands. That you don't negotiate with fear. That you don't submit to laziness. That your future matters enough to fight for it. One action at a time. You don't have to do it all today. You just have to do something. And then something again tomorrow. Stack those actions. Stack those wins. Stack that confidence. One day you'll look back and realize the person you became came from every small decision to act when you could have waited. So do not wait. Don't hesitate. Don't fall back into the trap of comfort. Get up. Move forward. Execute something right now. Take control of your minutes and use them with intention. Every tick of the clock is either building you or burying your goals. You choose which. This is your moment. Right here. Not later. Not next week. Now, this is the moment that turns everything around. Not because the world changes, but because you do. Through daily action. Through fierce commitment. Through discipline that doesn't bend. Don't just watch this and feel inspired. Let it spark something permanent. Let this be the last day. You let your goals gather dust. Let this be the first day of a streak that never ends. A streak of progress, power, and purpose. Act on your goals every single day now, because your future is begging you to stop waiting and start becoming. Number 7, stop feeding doubts and start feeding discipline. Doubt is the silent thief that steals your power the moment you stop fighting back. Imagine waking up each day with a clear mind, a steady heart, and a fierce commitment to your goals. No hesitation, no second guessing. What would that feel like? This video is your wake-up call to stop feeding those nagging doubts and start fueling your life with discipline that moves you forward, no matter what. You've faced moments where fear whispered, "You can't," and uncertainty weighed down your every step. But what if you could shut those voices off and replace them with a disciplined mindset so strong it pushes you through every challenge? Today you'll hear real stories about how ordinary people crushed their doubts by building routines, habits, and mindsets that refuse to quit. This isn't about motivation that fades in minutes. It's about creating unshakable discipline that grows daily and transforms your life completely. You will uncover simple but powerful strategies to break free from the trap of self-doubt and master your inner dialogue. Learn how to turn small daily actions into unstoppable momentum. Discover why discipline is not a punishment, but a gift you give yourself, a tool to reclaim control over your future. Every choice you make matters, and discipline sharpens your ability to make the right ones, even when the road gets tough. You might wonder, how do I stop doubting when it's been my constant companion? The answer lies deeper than quick fixes or empty pep talks. It starts by recognizing the patterns that feed your doubts, those moments when you hesitate, delay, or look for excuses, and choosing instead to act with intention and consistency. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but every step counts. You'll see how discipline rewires your brain, builds confidence, and replaces fear with focused energy. This video is not just about words, it's about action. You'll get clear, actionable steps to train your mind, build habits that stick, and silence the doubts that keep you stuck. You'll learn how to use discipline as your secret weapon to push through discomfort, resist distractions, and keep moving toward your goals, even when motivation disappears. Imagine feeling unstoppable, waking up excited because you've committed to a path that no longer allows doubt to take the wheel. Picture yourself making decisions that empower you rather than hold you back. That reality is closer than you think, and it starts the moment you decide to stop feeding doubt and start feeding discipline. Stay with me till the end of this video, and you'll have the tools to create a mindset so resilient, so focused, and so driven that no obstacle can break you. This is your chance to rewrite your story, to shift your inner voice from one of fear to one of strength. Discipline is waiting for you. Are you ready to answer the call? Let's begin. Number 8, cut out distractions that kill your mental focus. They're not stealing your time. They're stealing your life, one distraction at a time. Every time you pick up your phone out of habit, every time you scroll without purpose, every time you let noise hijack your attention, you're not just killing time, you're killing the version of yourself you were meant to become. Focus isn't just about getting more done. It's about taking back control over your mind, your purpose, and your future. And if you don't fight for that control, the world will keep pulling you in 1,000 directions until your potential is buried beneath a mountain of meaningless moments. We live in a world designed to break your focus. Every notification is engineered to trigger your emotions. Every app competes for your attention. Every platform rewards distraction, not depth, and the terrifying part. Most people don't even notice it happening. They walk around with phones in hand, eyes glazed, dopamine spiking every few seconds, completely unaware that their best years are being drained away by things that don't matter. And you feel it. You've felt that heaviness, that dull, gnawing frustration after spending hours doing nothing valuable, that quiet guilt that creeps in when you know you could have used your time better, that mental fog that clouds your clarity. It's not just you. You're not weak. You're not lazy. You're under attack. Your mind is under siege. And the only way to win is to consciously cut out the distractions that are slowly destroying your edge. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer interruptions. You need to reclaim your focus like your life depends on it. Because it does. Focus is how you build momentum. Focus is how you enter flow. Focus is how you create mastery. Every breakthrough you're hoping for in your life is on the other side of deep, uninterrupted work. But you'll never reach it if you keep allowing every beep, buzz, and scroll to slice your attention into fragments. Let's get real. How many dreams have you postponed because you were too busy reacting to nonsense? How many ideas have you abandoned because your mind was too cluttered to follow through? The truth is, most people never live the life they want because they never learn how to control their focus. They let their days slip through the cracks of digital distraction. And over time, those small losses add up to a big life of regret. You were not built for constant stimulation. You were built to think deeply, to move with intention, to create with passion. But you can't do that if your attention span is being destroyed minute by minute. That's why you have to cut out the noise, ruthlessly. This isn't about discipline. It's about survival. Your future depends on it. You must become dangerous with your focus. You must protect it like it's sacred. Because it is. When you control your attention, you control your reality. When you protect your focus, you protect your progress. And when you eliminate distractions, you accelerate your growth faster than you ever imagined. But this takes a bold decision, a real commitment, not some feel-good promise, a total shift in how you approach your environment. You don't need to do more. You need to subtract. Subtract the habits that pull you away from your goals. Subtract the apps that hijack your thinking. Subtract the noise that keeps you in reaction mode. And in that subtraction, you will discover your true power. Because the secret is this: clarity comes from focus. And focus comes from intentional design. You can't expect to stay sharp if you live in chaos. You must build systems that protect your attention. Start with your phone. Delete what doesn't serve you. Turn off what distracts you. Schedule time away from screens. Give your brain room to breathe. You'll be shocked at how quickly your energy returns, how fast your thoughts sharpen, how clearly your path begins to appear. And it's not just about devices. It's about people too. You have to stop giving your energy to people who drain you. Every conversation, every interaction is either fueling your mission or pulling you off course. You need boundaries. You need space. You need solitude. Because greatness is built in quiet, focused effort. Not in constant connection. Not in shallow conversation. But in deep work. Real thinking. Laser-like execution. You don't need to chase everything. You need to chase one thing fully. And that requires eliminating everything else that dilutes your drive. Focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most, without compromise. If you want to change your life, start with how you protect your attention. That's the root of it all. Because when your focus is clear, your actions become precise. When your mind is still, your intuition becomes louder. When your environment is clean, your energy becomes fierce. And in that state, you become unstoppable. Stop saying you're tired. You're distracted. Stop saying you're stuck. You're scattered. The real problem is not your potential. It's your attention. Fix that, and everything else changes. That's the leverage point. That's where the shift begins. But you have to be brave enough to walk away from the things everyone else is addicted to. You have to say no when it's easier to say yes. You have to disconnect from the crowd to reconnect with yourself. You have to trade short-term pleasure for long-term power. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Every day ask yourself, what is stealing my focus today? And then remove it. Bit by bit, habit by habit. You won't fix it overnight, but you will get stronger. You will get sharper. You will build mental clarity like a weapon. And that weapon will slice through every excuse, every obstacle, every mental fog that's been holding you back. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer leaks in your energy. You need to stop trying to do 1,000 things and master doing a few things with precision. That's where fulfillment comes from. Not from busyness, not from endless tabs open in your mind, from locked-in effort, from full presence, from giving your all to what truly matters. And when you operate with that level of focus, people will notice. You'll stand out, not because you're louder, but because you're deeper. In a world of shallow attention, depth is rare, and rare is powerful. Rare is magnetic. Rare becomes unstoppable. So today, make the decision. Cut out distractions that kill your mental focus. Stop letting your phone dictate your future. Stop letting noise dilute your greatness. Design your day to serve your goals, not the goals of platforms designed to keep you hooked. This is not about productivity hacks. This is about reclaiming your power, about building a mind that's unshakable, about living a life that's intentional, not reactive. Because in the end, focus isn't just a skill. It's a form of self-respect. It's a declaration that your time matters, that your dreams matter, that your potential is not up for negotiation. You've got one mind, one life, one shot at building something extraordinary. Don't waste it chasing every shiny thing that passes in front of you. Don't trade your greatness for comfort. Don't let the world program your focus. Choose clarity, choose depth, choose presence, and most importantly, choose to cut out every distraction that keeps you small. Because the moment you do, you'll start to rise. You'll feel it. You'll see it. You'll become the version of yourself that focus was always trying to lead you toward. Now's the time. Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. Now, because if you can take control of your focus, you can take control of everything. Number 9, train your mind to keep going under pressure. Most people break under pressure, not because they're weak, but because they were never trained to stay standing when everything starts to collapse. When life tightens its grip, when the pressure builds, when the heat rises and you feel like you're about to crack, that's the moment your mind either betrays you or saves you. And if you haven't trained it to hold the line, you'll collapse like you always have. But there's a different way. There's a stronger version of you that doesn't run, doesn't fold, and doesn't surrender when life hits hard. That version lives inside you, but it only shows up when you teach your mind to keep going when every part of you wants to quit. Pressure is not the enemy. Avoiding it is. Because every breakthrough, every leap forward, every transformation you're craving sits just beyond the moment when most people tap out. That's the place where growth happens, right at the edge of discomfort, in the fire of resistance. And if you're not mentally prepared for that battle, you'll retreat back into the comfort zone that's been suffocating your potential. You've felt it. That overwhelming heaviness in your chest when everything seems too much. That rising panic when things don't go as planned. That mental storm that screams for you to stop, to escape, to find the easy way out. But what if you didn't listen to that voice? What if you pushed forward anyway? What if you kept walking while the storm raged inside your head? That's what mental toughness is. It's not about pretending you're fearless. It's about feeling every ounce of fear and still showing up with intention. It's about refusing to let pressure define your pace. It's about standing tall while everything around you shakes. That kind of strength isn't natural. It's built, repetition by repetition, day by day. You don't rise under pressure by accident. You rise because you've rehearsed it in silence. Your mind is a battlefield, and every day you either train it or you let it weaken. You either condition it to stay composed when others panic, or you allow it to fall apart when things don't go your way. That's the hard truth. You become what you tolerate mentally. If you keep backing down when things get uncomfortable, you're reinforcing fragility. But if you keep pushing, even when your legs shake and your heart pounds, you're wiring your brain for strength. It starts with one choice. When the discomfort sets in, when the pressure starts to squeeze you, don't run, don't flinch, don't complain. Lean in, breathe through it, sit in the discomfort. Let it burn, let it stretch you, and remind yourself that this is the furnace where greatness is forged. You don't grow by escaping pressure. You grow by surviving it and learning to control your response inside it. You want to win. Train your nervous system to stay steady in chaos. You want peace. Learn to breathe when everything feels tight. You want power. Teach your mind to override emotion with logic when your emotions are screaming at you to quit. That's how you build a mind that doesn't just survive pressure. It thrives under it. And that level of control, it comes from doing hard things on purpose, from facing the resistance instead of avoiding it, from pushing through one more set, one more rep, one more conversation, one more hour of focused effort, even when you're tired. Every time you step into challenge, you're telling your mind, we don't quit here. You're building an identity around grit, around staying power, around resilience. Don't look at pressure like a punishment. It's a signal. It means you're leveling up. It means life is giving you a chance to get stronger. And how you respond in that moment defines your trajectory. The ones who train their minds to remain calm in pressure don't just survive, they lead, they stand out, they dominate. Because while everyone else is spinning, overreacting, freezing in fear, they're locked in, focused, clear, and unfazed. You want to rise above average? Then stop reacting like everyone else. Stop melting down the moment things get hard. Stop letting setbacks turn into shutdowns. Pressure is not the problem. Your response is, and that response can be rebuilt. It can be reconditioned. But only if you face it instead of avoiding it. This is about emotional control, mental clarity, unshakable presence. These are not talents. They are trained traits. You want that level of control? Then train it. Start now. Not when life calms down. Not when things are easier. Train it while you're under fire. Train it in the chaos. Train it when your plans fall apart. That's when the real reps count. You can't simulate pressure in your imagination. You have to live it. And when it hits, you have to remind yourself, this is the opportunity. This is where champions are built. This is where most people flinch. But I don't. I breathe. I focus. I choose my response. And I keep going. That decision, that level of control, it spills into everything. You become the one people look to when things go sideways. You become the anchor when the storm hits, because your mind has been trained to remain strong when everyone else breaks. And make no mistake, pressure is coming. In your business, in your relationships, in your personal development, you will be tested. Life will demand more from you than you think you can handle. That's guaranteed. The only question is, will you fold or will you show up stronger? If you want to win long-term, you must train for these moments now. Build the habit of calm under stress. Practice composure when things break. Choose action even when emotion pulls you towards stillness. Get uncomfortable on purpose, so when real pressure hits, you've already rehearsed your response. The people who rise are not the ones who avoid struggle. They're the ones who face it head on, again and again, until their nervous system adapts, until pressure no longer scares them. It sharpens them. That's who you must become if you want to fulfill your potential. You don't get stronger by sitting in safety. You get stronger by walking through fire and refusing to flinch. So when you feel pressure, don't wish it away. Welcome it. Use it. Rise inside it. Because that pressure is shaping the strongest version of you. And remember, every time you keep going when it's hard, you're not just getting through the moment. You're reprogramming your brain. You're building trust in yourself. You're proving to your subconscious that you can be counted on, that you don't break, that you adapt, that you rise. That's how you win. That's how you evolve. That's how you dominate. So here's your mission. Train your mind daily, on purpose. Push your limits. Face your fears. Build that unshakable resolve that says, I don't stop under pressure. I rise. Make that your identity. Make that your edge. Because the stronger your mind, the more unstoppable your life becomes. If this lit a fire in you, then good. That fire is your starting point. Now go build the mental strength to keep it burning when life throws wind in your face. You've got more in you than you think. Keep pushing. Keep rising. And never forget, pressure doesn't destroy you. It reveals who you really are. Be the one who keeps going, always. Number 10, own your choices and stop blaming your life. If you keep blaming your life, your past, or the people around you, you're handing them the keys to your future. And that's the surest way to stay stuck forever. There's a simple, brutal truth that most people refuse to accept. No one is coming to rescue you. No magic moment is waiting in the wings. If your life isn't where you want it to be, the only person responsible for changing it is you. This idea scares many because it strips away the comfort of excuses, the soothing lie that someone else controls their destiny. But freedom begins the moment you stop blaming and start owning every choice you've made. Picture this. Every failure you've experienced, every setback that feels unfair, every moment you wish things were different. What if those were not just circumstances, but the direct result of decisions you made? And what if by owning those decisions, you suddenly held the power to rewrite your entire story? That's the kind of radical ownership that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. You've probably caught yourself saying things like, if only I had a better family, or my environment held me back, or life dealt me a bad hand. These are words that feel true because they come from pain, but they trap you in a victim's mindset. When you speak this way, you're surrendering control, handing over your power to forces outside yourself. And as long as you do that, you will keep spinning in circles, repeating the same patterns, and living a life that feels out of your hands. What does it mean to truly own your choices? It means no more hiding behind ifs or buts. It means looking squarely at your life and accepting the role you've played in where you are right now, without excuses, without shame, but with fierce honesty. It's a mindset that says, I am responsible for my actions, my responses, and my future. And when you embrace that, everything changes. Imagine the relief of dropping the burden of blaming others. Imagine the surge of confidence that floods you when you realize you have the power to change your path because it's yours to control. That sense of control ignites action. It fuels the drive to learn, to grow, to improve. Because when you own your choices, you also own the ability to make better ones. You've likely witnessed this truth in your own life already. Maybe you blamed a bad teacher for your poor grades, or a toxic relationship for your emotional scars, or a tough break for your financial struggles. But deep down, the moments you decided to push harder, to keep learning, to refuse to settle, those were your choices, your turning points, those moments where you took responsibility. You started shaping your future. Blaming strips away hope, because it tells you the future is controlled by things you cannot change. Owning your choices builds hope, because it says the future is in your hands. No matter what your past looks like, it means you can always begin again. Starting right now, it's not easy. Owning your life means sitting with discomfort. It means looking at mistakes you'd rather forget. It means feeling the weight of your actions. But that discomfort is the price of freedom. When you pay it, you break the chains of victimhood and step into the arena of power. This is where true transformation happens. Not when life is perfect, but when you refuse to let imperfection define you. When you say, yes, this is my life, with all its flaws, but I am not a prisoner to it. I am the author of what comes next. That declaration changes everything. It shifts your identity from someone who happens to life to someone who controls their life. So how do you start owning your choices today? Begin by noticing where you're blaming. Catch yourself when your words drift toward, they made me, or I couldn't. Because then stop and ask yourself, what part did I play in this? What could I have done differently? Don't dwell in guilt, but use this as a tool for learning and growth. This simple habit rewires your brain to take responsibility instead of avoiding it. Next, focus on your power to choose now. No matter what happened yesterday, today you have options. You can respond with anger or calm. You can give up or keep going. You can repeat old habits or build new ones. Every moment offers a fresh chance to own your choices, to change your course, to step into your power. This mindset rewires how you see challenges. Instead of obstacles you complain about, they become tests of your resolve and opportunities to prove your strength. When you own your choices, setbacks become lessons, failures become feedback, and pressure becomes a forge for your character. It's also important to surround yourself with people who reinforce this ownership mindset. Avoid those who thrive on complaining or making excuses. Find those who take responsibility, who push forward despite difficulty, who embody the idea that your life is yours to shape. Their energy will fuel your own growth. Remember, owning your choices doesn't mean ignoring your circumstances or pretending life is easy. It means acknowledging reality fully and then making the conscious decision to rise above it. It means refusing to be defined by your environment or your history, but instead defining yourself by the choices you make today. Every successful person you admire has lived this truth. They faced hardships, failures, and moments when giving up seemed easier. But what sets them apart is they refused to blame and instead owned their actions. They accepted responsibility for their lives and moved forward with clarity and courage. You can do the same. Think about the moments in your life when you felt powerless. What if in those moments you took full ownership instead of shifting blame? How different would your life look now? That question isn't meant to weigh you down. It's meant to inspire you to step into your power. When you fully embrace ownership, you become unstoppable. You no longer wait for permission, validation, or perfect conditions. You act because you know the only way forward is through your choices. This mindset changes everything, from your relationships to your career, from your health to your mindset. So start today. Look at your life honestly and ask yourself, where am I blaming others instead of owning my role? Identify those areas and commit to shifting your perspective. It won't happen overnight, but every step toward ownership is a step toward freedom. As you practice this, you'll notice a shift. Your energy will change. Your confidence will grow. You'll start to see possibilities where before there were only problems. You'll find strength you didn't know you had because you're no longer giving your power away. Owning your choices is the ultimate act of self-respect. It says, I matter. My decisions matter. My life matters. It's the foundation of every successful and fulfilled life, and it's waiting for you to claim it. If this message resonates, don't just watch and walk away. Take action. Begin owning your life today. Choose to stop blaming. Choose to take responsibility. Choose to become the person who writes their own story instead of living someone else's script. This is your moment to step into power. Don't waste it. The future you desire starts with the choices you make now. Own them fully. Own your life fully, and watch how everything changes.